Happy holidays, Merry Christmas. We have an Alf Holiday Special. It's a supersized edition, 64 magnificent pages. All right, for the very first one, it says, sorry, the ad said elf, not Alf. So he went all the way to the North Pole for nothing. This will be the kind of humor I would enjoy. A lot of this, I love Alf on TV, but the comic books, there's a lot, and I mean a lot of puns that after a while you're like, one more Malmacian pun, Melmac this, Mel McDonald's, Melmac this. It's just a little bit overwhelming. It's relying too much on punnery and not enough on other things, unfortunately. Not saying it was an absolute terrible read. It's just 64 pages of it at one time can be a little grating. Maybe little children like that, and they were trying to write this as little children because it is part of it says on the front Marvel, but on the inside it says Star Comics. So I guess this is that transition when they moved from Star back to Marvel. I don't know off the top of my head. This does seem early in the run since it's the first, and there is a second one. I know there is. I have it. It only comes after about a dozen issues as well. So in the first, there's several stories. It's kind of like, if you ever read an Archie book, it's like that, where there's gags and funny things. Like he puts himself as a Fuzzy Philip, and he's going to try to, when he wants to go see what it's like to see crazy people at Christmas time going Christmas shopping. It's that one time of the year where it brings out the joy of the holidays, where people go out shopping and pretty much try to kill each other to get to a parking spot. And then they yell at each other. So yeah, you're like going, wow, Jesus died for us to have fights over teddy bears and Cabbage Patch dolls. Yeah, that's one of the reasons I'm not really fond of Christmas. It's gone so far away from what it should be. And I'm not saying that Jesus celebrated Christmas. I don't think he did. Even though, I don't think he even celebrated his birthday. I don't think that was a thing back then. I just feel like the holidays have gone so far away. It's gone commercial, and I can't stand it personally. I'm not saying I'm going to boo Christmas, but yeah. All right. Oh, I also like the ads like this one right here. Take your favorite games. I hated those games. No offense, Grandma. I know you got me something you thought I liked. Hey, I'm glad you got it for me. I got a yellow one. I think it was Pac-Man when I was a kid. So we got another one here. It's a snowman is an island. Basically in this one, he controls the weather. He sends up a balloon that somehow or another makes it snow. And then he can't turn it off. And then he's got to figure out how to turn it off and make it go back to sunshine again. Before the Californians all die because they're not used to 4 feet of snow. That's like us getting any snow down here. I live in a place that we've been here since 84, and it's never snowed and stuck. Now, there's been flakes falling out of the sky before, but they didn't stick. They may have stuck on some leaves. I don't know. It's like a few years ago it snowed, and it was at nighttime, and nothing was there in the morning, of course. Nothing stuck on the ground. So, yeah, it may have stuck on the back porch because the back porch is exposed. I don't know. Anyway, not important. You're not here to hear about me talking about snow. Alf and the Return of the Crazy Critters. This one seemed to have nothing to do with Christmas, unless I guess football has something to do with Christmas, because he's basically going to some football game, which for high school, if this is what it is, that was over. Ooh, look, there's only 3 comic books they sell at this time. All right, so yeah, if it's high school, which it seems what this is, I'm pretty sure isn't that over before Christmas? Like they're into basketball season by this time. I don't know. He's the mascot. Everybody loves him. Everybody thinks he's just a mascot, and that's just a crazy costume he's wearing. All right. Then we have the Magi, the gift of the Magi. So he's talking about, they're doing Christmas stories, and he's like, now it's your turn. Now tell a Christmas story. He tells a story about how he and his wife want to exchange gifts, but they don't have enough money. He can't get anything. He sees her beautiful long hair. He sees her going into a place where it says, I buy hair. He's like, oh, she's given up something so precious for me. And his watch, which was like in the very beginning, he says, there's 2 things I love the most, my watch and my wife. He's going to go sell his watch to get her something. So, let's see. Whenever he comes home, he sees her in the hair. Now he assumes that she cut her hair off and sold it. He gives her something, and then she's it's a comb. It's a brush that's automatic or something, like an electric brush. And she gets him something as well. It's like I'm trying to remember what it was. Wave On products. Oh, she wasn't there for that. She was selling Wave On products at the hair place. He just saw the sign and assumed 2 + 2 = 4. All right. And the holiday they celebrate on Mailback is not Christmas. It's Dip Your Head in Hot Fudge Day, or Fudge Day. So what did he give her, or her give him? Oh, a watch thermometer. She gave him a watch thermometer. And that was the end. And it's like, it wasn't the greatest story in the world. And then the 12 Days of Christmas, it's basically just the 12 Days of Christmas, like, 11 pipers piping. It's, ha, 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 pun, get it? Let's go back to 12 drummers drumming. Seems to be a joke there. 10 lords a leaping. Well, they all heard the stock market crash, so they're jumping out of the windows. And then 9 ladies dancing. There's nothing to that one. 8 maids a milking. You've heard that one before. 7 swans a swimming. They're trying to get away from him. 6 geese a laying bricks. So, yeah, they're not laying eggs, they're laying bricks. And then we have 5 golden rings instead of the golden arches. Mel McDonald's has the golden rings. 4 calling birds. Yo, Harry, come on out. What are you, chicken? Hey. So they're calling out him to come out, hang out with him. 3 French hens. 2 turtle doves. And I know the peace symbols are because doves, blah, blah, blah. But it kind of destroys the image of it being a turtle shell, honestly. And a partridge in a pear tree. Well, he ate the partridge. And then we have Alf, 23 skidoos and don'ts. In this particular story, he's basically playing his musical instrument, causes an avalanche, buries the house. He's got to go and rescue them by going to the town on skis. And then he gets some help from some people to come out and dig them out. And then he shows off on his skis. Evidently, the comic book version of Alf is much more animated, or he can do more than the actual live action could do. Here he is running around in a diaper. At first, you're like, oh, that's gross. And it's like, wait a minute. He normally doesn't wear any clothes. So that's like, isn't it ironic you're sitting there? I took a picture of this because, like, yeah, he's wearing a diaper, which seems gross. And then you're like thinking he's actually wearing more now than he normally does. Whatever. He wants to go to the party. He can't go to the party because obviously nobody will understand that there is an animal thing, whatever, at the party, an alien. But out in the, yummy mummy, out in the garage, he starts to have fun, and everybody comes out and joins him. And then Willie's starting to realize he's all by himself, right? But whenever he's supposed to give a big old smooch to his wife, because everybody's out there playing poker, which is where you poke people. Anyway, it's the Melmac version. And the end. And then we have some kind of crazy looking ad for tricks. And then now you can be the next Joe. So honestly, I kind of like the ads better than the actual comic book. It wasn't that great. So what are you doing? Do you think this was a great comic book? Did you read it? Did you have fun with it? I just got tired of the puns after a while, and it just kind of, I don't know. I mean, I think it was more of a reminiscent thing. It's like, oh, I love Alf. Therefore, I'd like the Alf comic books. Not necessarily. I also love Garfield, but the comic books are kind of like, meh. And when I was a kid, I actually loved Heathcliff. And then now reading it as an adult, I'm going, why did I like it so much? I mean, it's like, I guess there's a certain age that you just no longer get the jokes, or you've heard it so many times. It's like, yeah. It's like hearing knock knock jokes. You've already heard them 1,000 times. So maybe that's just the delusion I'm under, is that I'm just too old to enjoy things that are simple like this. So let me know if you read this when you were a kid, because I would have been actually 21, I think. Hold on. Yeah, I would have been like in my, I'd have been basically after high school. It came out when I was in high school, the cartoon, the TV series and the cartoon. So, yeah, I mean, I have fond memories of Alf, but then going back and reading the comic books like 40 years later or whatever, it's not quite the same. But watching the TV show is quite the same. So anyway, again, if you've read this recently, let me know what you think. If you read it back whenever it came out, let me know what you thought then. Because I know that going back and reading old comic books, sometimes they just aren't quite as good as I remember them.